Now we are going to talk about the reproductive system in the plants. Okay, the plant possesses two whorls, mainly male whorl and the female whorl. When you talk about the male, it's called androecium, but when you talk about the female, it's called gynoecium. So here we are going to talk about the androecium first. Okay, so we have to understand whenever the word androecium comes, we have to understand that we have to taking care of, or we are talking about the male whorl part. Okay, in the flower parts we have to must understand that this is the male whorl part, that is called, okay, so that is called, collectively called stamen. The male androecium is nothing but called as a collectively called stamen, which consists of, if I draw the diagram, it contains like this, having the pollen grains over here and the filament. It consists of filament here, connective, which connects the filament, and this is a spore. This is what anther. So anther and filament are connected by the connective. So stamen is the thing which is made up of the anther, connective and the filament. So androecium is what? Stamen. Stamen is what? Made up of this. If we're talking about this anther, if I'm taking the TS, you already know that transverse section, if I cut like this, I will found structure like this. Okay, somewhere this. Now you can see the image over here. I'm going to talk about a little bit manner. Okay, the anther. What is anther? Which collects, or which have a collectively all the pollen grains. What is a pollen grains? Pollen grain is a, see, in case of sexual reproduction, plant requires a male gamete and female gamete. Male gamete is nothing but the pollen grains. So the pollen grains are present in the anther, collectively present, because there are many numbers of pollen grains are present. See, anther is this part which is made up of what? See, it's a sac-like structure. So anther is collectively having this. You can see in the image as well. Now the anther is diatecious. Diatecious, di means two, thecious means the sac-like structure. It has a, if I draw a structure like this, it has a diatecious. At the center there is a connective. What is connective? This part is called as a connective, which connects the anther to the filament. This is the connective. The anther is a diatecious having the two sac-like structure, and after that each lobe, there are two lobes, each lobe contains a monothecious. Monothecious means each two lobes contain two parts. So totally there are how many parts? Four parts. And we know that four represented as a tetra. So the word come tetrasporangiate. So anther is nothing but, because of the presence of the four tetra means four sporangious cells, is called a tetrasporangiate as well. And this tetrasporangiate contains the pollen grains. But there are two I can say classification of the anther: before the maturity, or we can say immature anther and the mature anther. Immature anther possesses the process of the development of the pollen grains, and immature, that is when you transform immature to mature, the mature anther break opens after the maturity. What is break opens? Break open process in English or in scientific language is called dehiscence. Okay, so dehiscence means what? Breaking open of those pollen grains from that anther, and it will spread over the female whorl. So that is, the process is called dehiscence, that is breaking open of the anther. So there is a, see, you can see in the diagram, there is a something between here which actually helps for the breaking open. Fibrous composition is working here. We will going to talk about later on about this. So we have to understand that there are two types: mature anther and immature anther and the mature anther. In immature, we have to study this, the development of the pollen grains we have to study. So this is how we are going to learn. Now let's talk about the TS of the anther. we must know that this is a structure here to keep in mind. This is the androecium, stamen collectively called. Now we have to talk about the archsporial cell, which actually forms the pollen grains. These archsporial cells, when you talk about this, they are classified or divided into two cells. The first one is sporangium cell, which forms sporangium, okay, which forms collectively further tetrad, or we can say microtetrad. Tetrad means 4, so that is 4. Sporangious tissue is responsible for formation of the pollen grains, okay, step by step. And then archesporial cell is divided into the sporangium cell and is secondly divided into the parietal cells. Okay, what is the function of parietal cell? Protection, because outer layer is made up of what? Parietal cell. The parietal cell is divided into the 4 cells. The first cell is called epidermis. Okay, dermis means layer, epi means the above layer, which is made up of the what? Some cells, protective layers. Okay, second layer is known as a endothelial, which is just beneath the epidermis cell. Third one is called middle layer, and the innermost cell is called tapetum, which is nothing but a nutritive layer or nutritive cell. And after this tapetum there is a enclose, or we can say enclose of sporangious mother cell. So we have to study these things: epidermis, endothelium, middle layer and tapetum. You can see in a diagram, epidermis is the above layer, beneath that endothelial layer, middle layer is there, and the tapetum is the innermost layer is there. Okay, now let's talk about the layers of the anther. 4 layers of the parietal cell. We are going to study about the parietal cell here in detailed manner. Parietal cell is classified into 4 parts. First is the epidermis, which is the, epidermis is the outermost protective layer. So epidermis is what? Outermost protective layer, which is made up of what? Which is made up of a flattened or slash tubular structures. Okay, tubular cell structures are there found. Next one is endothelial, beneath the epidermis. Endo means beneath. Epidermis के नीचे exactly कौन है? Endothelial. Beneath the, this is, if suppose this is the epidermis, this part is known as a endothelial, which is composition of, made up of a what? Radially arranged cells, or radially arranged cell is there, and the major composition of the endothelial cells is the fibrous tissue. Acha, what is the fibrous tissue? Why there is a presence of fibrous tissue? See, I have told that after the maturity, this anther is dehiscence, undergo the dehiscence process, that is breaking open takes place. So that process of breaking open or dehiscence, the most important role of this fibrous tissue is there, because it actually helps to break open. So that's why endothelial layer is so important. After the endothelius, there is a middle layer, which is made up of the 1-2 layers, and this is actually a, this middle layer actually disintegrate into your pollen grains. So this is the middle layer, which actually helps for the disintegrate. And the 4th part is the tapetum. Tapetum is nothing but a nutritive layer. See, for the making of the pollen grains, nutrition requires. Who provides the nutrition? A tapetum is the one which requires the which provides the nutritive layer. Okay, after the tapetum, it actually encloses. See, there are 4 tetras, sporangiums are there here. So actually the tapetum, this is a tapetum layer is here, which provide nutrition to form the pollen grain to the sporangium cell, which is we talked in earlier. Okay, so now tapetum enclose the what? A sporangium cell, or spore mother cell is also called as a spore mother cell. So this is the TS of the anther, which required four parts: epidermis. Okay, before that we have to understand what is sporangium cell. We have to talk about 2-3 lines. We have to talk about that, and then we have to distinguish between the four layers: epi, endo, middle, and the tapetum. So this is a requirement for the TS of the anther. Now let's study the process of the microsporangenesis. Acha, when you talk about the male gametophyte, that is a androecium, okay, whenever the study of it comes for the male whorl part of the flower, it's called microsporangenesis. Micro means little part, sporangius cell, genesis means synthesis or the formation of new. So this term include what? Microsporangenesis is nothing but the development of pollen grain. We have to study under this topic, that is microsporangenesis, and we further study about the megasporangenesis. That means we have to study under that category. We have to study the development of the female gametophyte. Here we are talking about what? Male gamete. So that's called as a microsporangenesis. Now in this, what we have to study is it. See, there is a cell we have studied in the TS, sporangium cell. Sporangium cell which give rise, which has a capacity to give rise to the 4 tetrad cell, and which ultimately forms the pollen grains. Okay, so sporangium cell is also called a mother spore cell. So don't get confused, students, because sometimes you may come across this word or this word, but the meaning of two words is the same. Sporangium cell undergo division, form a tetrad of the spore cells. Now the process of division is meiosis. What is that process? Meiosis. The sporangium cells undergo the meiosis to form a tetrad. Tetrad means how many? 4 cell will be there. Tetrad of the haploid. Haploid means not 2 n, means diploid. N means haploid. Okay, single there is there. And haploid is there, form a microspore. Now what do you mean by microspore? Nothing but your pollen grain. So we are talking about the development of the pollen grain, which is called as a microsporangenesis. The process by which it is divided is called meiosis. Form 4 haploid cells are there. Now let's move on to the structure of the pollen grains, that is microspore we are going to study. See, most of the pollen grains are non-motile, haploid, unicellular body, and single nucleus. They possess a single nucleus. Okay. Now the pollen grain. Suppose if I am drawing this a pollen grain here, it made up of the 2 layers, which is classified as into exine, which is the outer layer, and the inner layer is called the intine. Let's study about the exine first. See, exine, the outermost part of the pollen grains. Now tell me one thing, we heard about the pollination process, the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. I mean like a female reproductive parts over there. So while transferring, definitely it come across many obstacles. To overcome those obstacles, this exine helps. Means it act like a protective layer in onto what? A outer layer. So exine, definitely for the protective layer, exine should be tough, or it should be made up of non-biodegradable substance such as known as sporopollenin. So exine is made up of what? Sporopollenin, which helps for the protection, which is non-biodegradable. Okay. Now after this sporopollenin, we have to understand that the exine may be smooth, or it shows a rough structure, or we can say it can be show a rough structure as well. Okay, see, it may be smooth or rough structure, or the sculptural part. Rough, in your textbook there is a word sculptulated. It shows the sculptulated pattern. So what's that pattern? This may be smooth or sculptulated pattern. It is identity of the species, we can say. So okay, now at some point exine has some openings, okay, which, see, exine has to be tough, and it has to be a thick layer which is made up of the sporopollenin, correct? But at some spaces, this is a thick substance, and here there is a little bit opening is there, which is made up of the thin layer, which leads to the formation of the germ pole. And this germ pole is very responsible for emerging out of the pollen tube. Emerging means what? वहां से क्या बाहर आता है? Pollen tube बाहर आती है, and that pollen tube transfer the male gametophyte. So exine is a very thick, but at the sometimes the opening becomes little bit thin. That thin called as a germ pore, which is responsible for emerging of the pollen tube. After that exine, we have to study the intine. See, intine is what? Inner side. So that is made up of the pectin and cellulose. So this is the structure of the pollen grains, mainly exine and intine. Exine is what? A protective layer or protective part which helps for the protection. So it has to be tough and you can say it is a chemical resistance. It is a chemical resistance. So these are the points we have to understand that. Okay, let's talk about the development of the male gametophyte. See, pollen grains actually marks the formation of the male gametophyte. So when you talk about the pollen grains marks the beginning of the male gametophyte. So here it undergoes the two mitotic divisions. The first mitotic division result into the formation of first vegetative cell, which is have a large and irregular nucleus, and the second one is a formation of generative nucleus. So the vegetative which is formed, which is the irregular larger and which is act as a food reservoir. It acts as a food reservoir. Okay, so see, if this is the structure of the pollen grain, this is the exine middle nucleus, which undergo the first mitotic divisions, which leads to the formation of a vegetative nucleus, which is a naked and the large one, and the another, the small one, it is a generative nucleus or generative cell, we can say. Now see what happened in this. The generative cell, which is a small one, it is actually floating inside the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. As we mentioned, vegetative cell is act like a food reservoir. It provides the food. Okay. So now what happened in this case? There is a leads to formation of the second mitosis happens. And the second, see, as a name suggests, generative. Now first mitosis occurs where two forms cells, but in a second mitosis, what happened? This generative cell undergo the mitosis, form two male gamete. So who is responsible for formation of the male gamete, and how many? Two male gametes are formed by the generative cell after the second mitosis. That has to be underlined. So after the second mitotic division, this generative cell, which is a thin walled, this is a thin walled nucleus, which undergo this as it is vegetative, this forms a two male gametes. Okay, and the exine will be as it is, and having always remember that there is a germ pore here. Okay, in this here germ pore is also you have to mention. Now now what happened? The second mitotic division occurs, which leads to the formation of these two male gametes. Now the further development takes place here. See, the vegetative nucleus, which is here, acting as a nucleus of the whole big cell. These two male gametes are non-motile. Okay, so what is the point here? This male gamete has to be transferred from this pollen grain towards the female gametophyte. So this vegetative nucleus takes place or plays an important role in this. What happened? Look at here. If this is a cell having covered with the exine, and here is the germ pore, this vegetative nucleus descend down over here. See, this male gametophyte is here. This vegetative nucleus descend down here in the at the base of the germ pore, which is from that germ pore there is a formation of the pollen tube, and the first this pollen tube is guarded by the vegetative nucleus, which is come at the base. Then afterwards these male gametophytes are transferred. So the process in which the male gametophytes are transferred to the female gametophyte, the vegetative nucleus forms the pollen tube from the, or it emerges from the germ pore. In this case we have to understand. See, the pollen grains are shed from the anther at this stage having the two male gametophytes, okay, or maybe afterwards, but in the pollen tube happens. What I'm trying to say is that whenever there is a shedding of anther takes place, there will be the either formation of, see, there must be the formation of two male gamete either inside the pollen grain before the shedding, or whenever the pollen tube forms, there is a formation of the male gamete. So in either the process takes place, the formation of male gamete is very important here. So we have to understand that. So what is the pollen grain act here? Pollen grain act here the transfer of the male gametophyte, and the pollen tube is directed by the vegetative nucleus, and this nucleus here it's called vegetative nucleus, but here when it actually directs the pollen tube emerges on from the germ pore, then this nucleus is called pollen tube nucleus, which helps for the direction of which helps for the finding the direction to get into the female gametophyte, or for the fertilization of the ovule takes place by this. So pollen tubes is act as a guidance for the emerging out of the pollen tube. So this nucleus acts as a guidance for the direction of the fertilization where the ovule is present, where the ovary is present, and it goes into the ovary. It intersects the ovary and it transfers the male gametophyte. That is the function of the pollen tube. And the pollen tube is the one which is we're going to talk about in the female gametophyte, or when you talk about the fertilization, double fertilization, we have to talk about the majority function of the pollen tube, which act as a transfer of the pollen grains. Okay, which is transfer of the male gametophyte.